Hello. Um, okay, so this is my learning activity PowerPoint slide. I was gonna do flashcards, but I thought that this would be easier. And like I'm using Zoom, so I don't know what other like recording process to use other than like just sharing my screen. So let's just get into this PowerPoint real quick. Let me see. Okay, there we go. I hope this records because I'm not sure if it's recording fully. But so our learning activity was about, or not was, but is about breaking down medical terms and like breaking them into pieces and seeing what each piece means that forms the meaning of the entire term. So for my title, I put foundation and structure of medical terminology, which is like the foundation is basically breaking it, or is the base, and then like the structure is like the bits and pieces putting together of the medical term. So the types of word parts that we learned in class so far, or I think in general, or this is what's it, are prefixes, combining forms, and suffixes. So the prefixes go in front of the combining forms, and the combining forms go in the middle, and then the suffixes go at the end. So you can have multiple, I believe you can have multiple combining forms in a word that can act as a prefix. I don't think every word has a prefix. So like, for example, I chose histology as one of my words to break down. So what I wrote here, I put combining form plus suffix. So, or you can actually, if there's a prefix, you can add the prefix right here too. But I just chose this one for an example. So the histo is the combining form, and logy is a suffix. And the meaning of histo is tissue, while the logy or the suffix logy means the study of. So what I also wrote in this, you can read the suffix from, you have to read the term from the suffix to the combining form prefix to break down the meaning of the term. So like you're basically reading it backwards. So if you read it from the study of, which is logy, and tissue, which is histo, the combining form. So the study of tissue, and that is the meaning of histology. Another example that I have chosen was leukocyte, which leuko is white, and the suffix of it is cyte, which means cell. So leukocyte means white cell. And if you ever heard of leukemia, that is a blood cancer or blood disorder, which is, I believe is excessive amount of white blood cells in the bloodstream. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, some terms are similar but are different. They can look very similar, but can mean totally different things. So you have to be careful on what like suffix you use and the spelling of the word, because it could mean something else. For examples, for the suffixes that I chose was eel, ayak, and l, and all three of those suffixes mean pertaining to, but they can be used with different prefixes and combining forms to mean a completely different word. But these three mean pertaining to. So I wanted to have some critical thinking of how similar suffixes, by changing like the different endings. So like, for example, we have gram, graph, and graphy. So all suffixes have the dash gra, but like for gram, they have m, graph, it has ph, so on. If you change the last like few letters of a word, it can mean something different. For example, so gram is record. So like a sonogram, a mammogram, whatever, it's a record of or a picture of something. graph, instrument for recording, and then graphy for process of recording. So graph and graphy are similar, but if you add the Y to graph, graphy is the process and graph is the instrument. So that is very important to know what you're talking about. So some more examples, scope and scopy. So scope is, or the suffix scope meaning instrument and scopy meaning examination. So the two suffixes look very similar, but the ending is different. And one means instrument, one means examination. So for my example, I use an endoscope, which is the instrument, to do an endoscopy, which is the examination process or procedure. And then using the combining form endo, endo is the same in both of them, but or is the combining form, which is the same in both words, but scope and scopy is different because one's an instrument and one's an examination, so they're different. Even though they look like the spelling's similar, it's not the same, but one is E and one is Y, so it's going to be different. And that's the last of my presentation. I put spelling is important. When spelling in medical terminology, please make sure you spell and use the correct prefixes and suffixes. Oh, well, I should have added combining forms in there, but that's it. So yeah, that is my presentation. Thanks. Let's see.